What's going on, everyone? This is Chris G with Spilling Tea, and tonight we are going over Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 9. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and hit you with my top five highlights, and we're going to spill the tea at the end, so let's get it cracking. So, for my first highlight, Phaedra and Kenya. This was a really good moment for Real Housewives of Atlanta because a lot of times we don't get to see a whole lot of charity work going on for a lot of these reality shows. So this was really, really cool. Phaedra is doing work with Detroit. As you guys know, Flint, Michigan has had a water crisis for I think it's been over 2 years now at this point, and at this point their water is still not corrected. So Phaedra was holding a camp for the children of, Flint, Michigan, where they could come to camp for free for the weekend, just to relax and just to be a kid again. And Kenya, she was giving the kids positive, feedback by saying, hey, how many times have you been said, has it been told to you that you're too dark to do something or you're not pretty enough? Or, one little girl was saying a lot of kids ask her why her hair is like that. And Kenya was saying, girl, you just gonna have to twirl on because your dream can come true. I didn't know that Kenya tried to be Miss America 3 times and on the third time it happened. So, you know what? Third time's the charm, and Kenny was just telling them, push through because there are positive things in life and your dreams can come true. So I thought that was really amazing. What brought me to tears though in this camp was the children just kind of talking about basically um, their life. And one child was saying that he doesn't even know his mom or his dad, that all he has is pictures. Another one was saying that his brother was shot in the head 3 times. That really got me emotional because it's like these kids go through a struggle. Once they leave that camp, now it's back to reality. So I hope Phaedra keeps working with Flint, Michigan. I hope there are more organizations that get involved with them to try to get them clean water and just to try to get them back on track. On to my second highlight. So Porsha and Todd had met up, and Todd was saying that basically his job had gave him an ultimatum. He had a situation where he had took a picture with Porsha and she had in a bikini, and I guess it, just pictures of her and Phaedra at the DNC convention in Washington D.C. And it was just kind of like his job basically said it's either your girl or us. And so Todd had left his job, and Porsha had a fit because it is expensive to be Porsha. She got bills. She got to keep her glamour up, her body up. I mean, you know, the Rolls Royce, the Mercedes. It's a lot to keep Porsha's lifestyle up. And Porsha is worried because financially she's saying, at first I just wanted a baby and that was it. But now, you put me in this relationship and I'm looking for financial stability, and that scares me that you basically quit your job for a girl. And if everyone did that, there'd be a lot of unemployed people. So Todd, he's kind of like he's kind of aloof to the situation. He seems like he gets it, but he's kind of just like, I'm having a good time. I'm on this show. I'm here in Atlanta. That's kind of how it feels to me. Like it's serious, but it's not serious. But he is down there in Atlanta, and he is trying to find a job. Just trying, I guess, find himself basically while he's in Atlanta. But in the meantime, Porsha had got really sick and she had passed out in a nail salon. She wasn't getting enough oxygen or enough blood flow, I'm sorry, to the brain. So she was diagnosed with a condition, and it's happened to her 5 times. So she was at home resting, and Shamia was there, trying to help her out. And she had let Todd in. He came in and Shamia had left. And I guess Porsha and Todd had an argument because he was trying to get a little pokey poke going, and Porsha was tired, and then they got into it about how busy she is, and she basically told Todd, "Listen, we got to finish this conversation another time because I'm exhausted. I don't feel good. We'll move on from this." But Portia feels they're also in the honeymoon stage still of their relationship and they're already having serious issues. So I don't know. Hopefully, her and Todd could work it out. On to my third highlight. So Bob and Sheree had met up and they had went to go do like a burlesque situation. Bob just kind of wanted to bring back some good memories to Sheree about the trips that they took, like to Paris. But they got kicked out of Italy because Bob was flirting with a girl, and Sheree had said something to Bob, and then Bob threw his wine glass onto a glass of wine onto Sheree, and Sheree said she blacked out and started fighting. So, anyways, they got kicked out of there, but Paris was a good trip. So Bob had went up and started doing a little, shimmy shake, a little dance with the boa, and the burlesque lady was like, "Yeah, give me a call next time when you want to learn some real dancing." So, Bob was talking to Sheree and he was just, just trying to kind of rekindle the romance. But I will say this: if I had to watch Bob on a 4K TV, okay, or on a 3D TV, I need for Bravo to take a towel and wipe his forehead one good time. I am so tired of seeing Bob and the sweat beads. I am watching this in HD TV, y'all. HD TV. These sweat beads that are on top of Bob's head is ridiculous. And I don't know why Bravo got him out there like that. I understand it is humid in Georgia, y'all. I get it. But them sweat beads on top of Bob's head, I'm tired of him sweating like that. I am. When the camera goes off of Bob and goes to Sheree, I need them to wipe real quick and come back to Bob. That's what I need. Bravo, holla if you hear me. On to my fourth highlight. Had to get that out. Candy had extended her invitation to Cynthia and to Kenya about staying with her, but Candy wasn't expecting for Cynthia to really go ahead and stay with her, but she did. Cynthia had pulled up with her wigs, her food, and her Febreze, honey. And she was like, "Okay, I just want to make sure I'm comfortable and that, everything is good to go." And so Candy had took her to the guest bedroom, which was like really, really nice. And Candy, if you ever need a guest, you ever want to extend your invitation out, I will fly from Las Vegas to Georgia. So Cynthia and Candy were in the kitchen the next morning, and Cynthia had got a phone call from a realtor, and everything checked out with the appraisal, so she can now finally sign the papers and move into her late lakefront house. So, again, congratulations to Cynthia, which we already know she has been living in there because they taped this prior to, but congratulations. On to my fifth highlight. So Phaedra had called Porsha previously while Porsha was, not feeling well. And she wanted to get all the ladies together after her trip because, she just kind of wanted to discuss what happened in Detroit. So she did. All the ladies came. So Candy, Kenya, and Cynthia were sitting on one side of the table, and Porsha, Sheree, and Phaedra were sitting on the other side of the table. And Phaedra had brought up the fact that she's thinking that they should do a camping trip, or glamping trip. And so the ladies were kind of down for it, but Kenya, of course, had to bring up the fact that Porsha is in anger management. So Kenya said that Phaedra told her that Porsha wanted to tell the ladies about her anger management, how everything was going. And so it kind of caught Porsha off guard because she didn't disclose to them that she was doing that. And Porsha had turned to Phaedra and said, "I said that I wanted to tell them about my anger management because I don't recall saying that." And so then Candy finally said, well, how is that going? How's anger management going? And Porsha was saying, I don't like the tone of the conversation. I don't really want to talk about it that much. And Candy kept saying, well, maybe because it's not working. And so that's why you don't want to talk about it. But Candy's feelings are maybe Porsha is not going to anger management, and she feels that nothing is wrong with her, and so that's why she doesn't want to talk about it. So Cynthia was asking her, well, how are you managing your anger, or what are your triggers? And Porsha kept saying, I don't want to talk about this. I don't like you guys' tone. And if you find me dangerous to go on a trip with, then, you don't have to keep talking about my anger management. So basically, then all of a sudden, Porsha and Candy had got into it because Porsha felt like Cynthia and Candy was piggyback riding Kenya about this anger management. So Porsha had got up and left because she just wanted to get out of the situation. She didn't like how the ladies were talking to her. And so Kenya had ran after her and Phaedra told Kenya, you kind of need to step back because I feel like you're baiting her. Cynthia and Candy has decided that they're going to leave. And Sheree, of course, was going after Porsha as well. And Kenya is all in Porsha's face, and she's saying, well, the anger management is not working for you if I can't even be in your face. So Porsha had went to her car and drove out of the parking lot. She was like, I am done with y'all. Bye. So after that happened, Phaedra was saying, well, okay, let me go ahead and text, Porsha to try to get her back. So Sheree had turned to Kenya and said, you do be baiting people. Matt was breaking out all the windows. He broke the window out your car. I mean, he was doing all this. Jasmine Sullivan, you be baiting people. So then Kenya said, well, you know what, Sheree, your past is not as clean because you were in a physically abusive relationship yourself. And I personally know that for a fact. And then all of a sudden, Kenya squats down and starts duck walking and says, I'm on Sheree's level. Shady. So Porsha turned around, she came back, she was kind of calmed down, and Kenya, Candy, and Cynthia, they decided to leave, and Phaedra and Sheree, they went back upstairs because Phaedra just kind of wanted to get all of this out in the open and just try to work this out. So they go back upstairs, Porsha, Phaedra, and Sheree. And Porsha told Phaedra, please don't tell them things that I'm doing because I don't want them knowing what I'm doing. And basically, I'm kind of done with this group. And so, I don't want you doing that. If I tell them, if I want to, disclose something about me, let me do that. Which I agree with Porsha. I felt like it was none of their business about anger management, especially Kenya, because Kenya loves to turn things around and, make it a bad situation. The anger management thing could have been positive, but the way Kenya sets things up is to make it negative. So I totally agree. I don't know about Porsha and Phaedra. I mean, hopefully their relationship is still strong, but maybe Porsha is kind of leery of Phaedra now. Okay, so let me go ahead and spill some tea for you guys. Mama Porsha, Miss Diane, happy birthday to you. She has turned 59 years young and she is looking fabulous. Also, Riley Burris, Candy's daughter, is doing music, which I had no idea. She is singing, and Candy cannot wait for us to hear Riley's music. So, congratulations to Riley as well. However, Nene had went on to Watch What Happened Live, and Candy had put on her Instagram her reaction to the question that a viewer had asked, which was, how does Nene feel about Phaedra and Candy no longer being friends, or how their friendship dissolved? And Nene basically said, I don't have a problem with them not being friends, but I have a problem with how how the relationship dissolved. I guess Candy was feeling like, I'm holding all your secrets. And, Andy was saying too, like they're both kind of bashing each other. And, Nene was saying that I'm very loyal until you're not loyal to me. So Candy had took to her Instagram and she wrote, I had to post this because Nene Leakes just explained perfectly what I felt. For those who wonder why I've reacted the way I have reacted this season, I'm extremely loyal, but for the last couple of years I've kept my mouth closed while I was getting dragged on and off camera. So this year I was just done. At the end of the day, we should respect girl codes. But that means when the friendship is done, you don't say anything about each other. Not just I don't say anything about you while you blast the hell out of me all the time. Please remember, you guys, only get bits and pieces of what you get to see on the show. Nene has been privy to info that y'all don't know, so her perspective is a lot more clear on this situation. Isn't it funny just to hear Nene and I are on the same page? Jesus fixed it. So, yeah, they're on the same page, but hopefully this will bring Nene and Candy to, you know, mend their relationship. As Nene says, they do see each other. Also, Nene was talking about Porsha and her friendship, and a viewer was asking, or Andy was asking basically, has Nene spoken to Porsha since the show? And Nene said no. She said when Porsha had went on to Watch What Happens Live and said that she tried to reach out to Nene, she was saying that that's not true. That Nene has not spoken to her since they last filmed Porsha barely wanted to speak to her while they were filming the vacation, while they were from the last season when Nene was on there on the show. And Nene was saying that the whole thing started when they were on the reunion, and Nene was trying to give Porsha advice about, being violent with the other girls and stuff. And Porsha, she kind of didn't want to hear it, and then she went on to Dish Nation and bashed her, and her coworkers did the same to Nene. That's when Nene was like, okay, this is, I was a good friend to this girl, and basically, she kind of stabbed me in the back. So that's Nene's feelings on that. She's basically done with the whole situation. Speaking of relationships, Sheree and Kenya are beefing. Kenya had took to her Instagram to say shame on Sheree, and she posted a 4-page letter to Sheree about, how Kenya, she was saying, I've been honest since season 1 that I was in a domestic violence relationship at the age of 16, and for Sheree to say that I antagonized Matt and I deserve the things that have happened to me with him breaking the windows out my car and in my house is unfair. Okay, I'm just gonna throw this out there really quick. Kenya has every single last one of these castmates, okay, not to bring light to the situation, but Kenya has been abusive herself, verbally, as far as antagonizing the women on the show. She has been. Okay, she's done it with Porsha. She's done it with Nene, chasing after him. She's just been that type of person. So that's what Sheree is talking about. Like, you've done it with all the women, and you've even done it with Sheree. And last season, when you've seen her at Cynthia's eyeglass wear party, you were talking to her about her house situation, and you did it again this season. So Sheree is like, I'm only talking about what I see. So I don't know if it's really totally shame on Sheree, but I think it's shame on you too, Kenya. And then also Matt Jordan had went on to his Instagram to piggyback, in the words of Porsha, Sheree's ideology about, Kenya antagonizing him. I mean, he wrote a 4-page letter. I'm not going to go into all of it on here, but if you do want to look at it, it is on Spilling Tea with Chris G on Facebook. But he did go into a 4-page letter about Kenya and her behavior and how, it has triggered a lot of his anger as well. So I don't know. It's I need for everybody to get themselves together on this show, please. Thank you. But that is it for you guys. Please make sure you subscribe. I will be back next week with some more tea for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Have a good night.